Hi everybody, before we bring you part 2 of the Alan Turing biography, just enough time to shout out for Roseanne Reid. Thank you ever so much for letting us use some of your songs in the video, fantastic, and look forward to seeing you on the show in a couple of weeks time. So, part 2 of the Alan Turing biography, check it out.
Part 2.
Alright, I said that.
Box, set,
Run, think, breathe, think. A marathon gives the time I need to get my thoughts refined. Adrenaline rushes through my veins and helps to clear my mind. I'm chasing after new concepts in a race against the clock. Papers to be written that will give the world a shock.
So you must be so excited about this, and so, you know.
Excitement. It is a mixture of that. I mean, a lot of this
It's
is
a lot of hard work.
it's a lot of. Yes, there is excitement. There's also a great amount of stress. I find I think a lot, and I feel I kind of question what if a lot. What if this happens?
Yeah.
What if that happens? Consequently, just before a show goes live, it can involve a few sleepless nights.
Yeah. You just answered my other question, which is, where you got the inspiration from? Because, I say, taking on a task like this. I mean, look. So, am I right in thinking, not to digress too much, but you must have other topics in your mind?
Of course, yeah.
You've probably got other offers.
Yeah.
People are starting to say, where do we take this guy next?
Yeah. Well, I mean, at the moment, I'm a self-funded producer. I write myself and I produce my material. I've got a show that I'm working on about the life of Nellie Bly, and she was the first lady to travel around the world in 1889.
Yes, of course.
And we're kind of coming at that show from quite a strong feminist angle. I work in a very strange way, and that is I book a theatre before I've finished a show. So I've booked a theatre for the Edinburgh Fringe Festival,
right?
But I'm yet to finish the show.
Yeah.
And that's been my process for a few years, which basically I set myself a deadline.
Yeah.
And no matter what, I've got to put that show on, so it will be written.
I'm pretty
We've started it, but Alan's now Alan's put everything on hold because this has been so hard to get ready.
Doesn't it,
Yeah.
This young lady you were talking about that you're with, she's been helping you as well, musically write it and stuff. The other girl you mentioned,
sorry, Jan Osborne.
Jan Osborne.
Yeah.
And she so it's like a co.
So I mean, we write together. We're invariably in the same room when we're writing. I would say I kind of, on this particular project, on the Alan Turing project, which was from quite a classical approach of writing. It was me, perhaps at the piano, singing and playing, and I'd say, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? And we would kind of compromise on ideas. On other projects we're working on in a slightly different manner. Oh, what's this?
Oh, there you go. That's your tea.
Is that my tea? Is that for me?
It's a cup of tea. There you go.
Oh, fantastic.
Bernie.
Thank you very much.
Very kind of you.
It was a bit scary there.
You've got the one then this time. Do I get one? Oh, hang on, she's coming back with another one, I think.
I'm not waiting for you. Oh, that's lovely. It's got sugar in it.
You've got sugar. That's your one.
That's fantastic. I could do with a bit of sugar. Keep me going.
Thank you for that. That's great. Why are you being so nice today then? Yeah, you just keep it up, please. A little bit more often would be lovely. Thank you so much.
That is. Where do you keep this?
This young
beast?
lady goes downstairs.
Oh, there's a lady.
There's a lady. Don't mention that.
I didn't realise. I assumed that furry beast was a man.
So the young lady again's name was
Jan Osborne.
Jan Osborne. Yeah. She plays fiddle and piano.
She plays woodwind. She plays the woodwind instruments. I'd say her first instrument is flute or saxophone.
Right. Okay.
Sings.
So she helps what with the ideas and.
Yeah, I mean, I find with everything I do, I always want I want some opinions around me.
Yeah.
Not necessarily to reassure me, but I just like to bounce ideas off people.
Yeah, you like two heads are better than one.
Yeah.
Trying to get someone else's opinion on stuff like that.
These journeys are tough, and to do them solo, I can't even imagine it really. You need to have a good team around you, and also we've got a lady called Joan Greening who's written our script, and she's been tremendously supportive and helped a lot. And we've also got a director called Jane Miles. As you can tell, we've got a lot of J's in our group, and all of us, we trip up over the J's every time we talk about each other, because there's a Joan, a Joe, a Jane, a Jan, a Joel.
So I mean, it's just quite fantastic, how this show has progressed. I mean, so what is the future on the show now then, apart from, say, I know you're touring it around.
Yeah,
and stuff,
so we've got these
you've
imminent
got lots
bookings.
of press,
Yeah.
lots of papers you're doing as
Yeah,
well.
yeah. I mean, the show which opens tomorrow. Thankfully, there was a tube strike planned for this week in the UK.
I think they
and
cancelled it.
they've just cancelled it. And we've got a really extensive press list for our press night on Tuesday. It's about 30 long, and we've got some national papers on there. So it's very scary. We've had good reviews, but I've also, reviews scare me.
Well, someone said never listen, never read into them. They are going to say what they're going to say. It could be the greatest thing one time, next time it's something else. All different tabloids have got different ideas.
True. That's why I think you need a lot of reviews.
Yeah.
And traditionally, I think in theatre, you get a lot of reviews and you use the ones that are most favourable to shout about your show. But it's funny because...
I've done that quite a lot.
Yeah. But in the world of film, I mean, I love, my guilty pleasure is sort of rubbish films some of the time. But what people consider rubbish films sometimes, I just really enjoy.
Yeah, like The Cable Guy. No one liked it in America, but all over the world they love it.
Yeah, I'll tell you a true classic is it's a bit off topic here, but The Shawshank Redemption. That was a flop, but it's one of my favourite. That was a flop.
That's one of my favourite films.
It is a cult classic now.
I mean, Morgan Freeman, God's sake, he's rolling.
He was amazing. He was amazing.
But that was a flop.
Initially at the box office, yeah.
Wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, it didn't do very well, but it is.
I know about Mad Max, for example. That was a flop at the bit. It was terrible. But then again, never caught.
Bit rubbish, but I love it. It's not a masterpiece, but I do enjoy it.
So, what does the future hold for you? I know you'd say we've talked about this other.
The future. I mean,
is it
I'll tell you my dream future, because my present day life is.
I've got a funny feeling you won't be dreaming, and it's very, very soon.
Oh,
this
that's
is
very
going
kind.
on.
Well, it's very hard business. The arts are very hard. So, but my dream would be for the music I write to provide enough income to write more. That would be wonderful to be able to wake up in the morning and go to the piano.
Like you did earlier.
Yeah, there's a piano in the studio, and I did use that. I'm a music teacher, and I love my job. I do love teaching. Yeah. But it would be incredible to have more time to give to composing and to creating. That can
be frustrating, can't it? Not being able to do it, because it's a time thing.
Time and money.
Well, it's also say that a play like this is 24/7, and you won't get away from that. Like we were talking about earlier, you're rushing off from here. You've got to go home and do something tonight.
It's very hard.
You're up at 5, often at big 6. So, and but it's doing very well.
Yeah.
What about going abroad? Do you see any influences?
I would love to do that. So when I go to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, one thing. Well, let me tell people about that a little bit. The Edinburgh Fringe Festival is the biggest theatre festival in the world, and you wouldn't expect it to be in Edinburgh, but it's in Edinburgh.
No, you think like Cannes or whatever.
Or you'd think London maybe, or you'd get London, New York, but it's in Edinburgh, and it is incredible. And Edinburgh's a beautiful city.
Yeah.
And one thing that amazes me are the international performers that come from all over the world.
I was just thinking of Robbie Williams, like he used to go periodically. He would not go. All big stars, you're right, they all just turn up and go live in castles.
Well, I'm not even talking about the big stars. I'm talking about the little guys who are just,
really got to be there. Like
they're passionate, and some of them will save up. Some of them are fortunate enough to get some funding.
Cool,
The arts funding in the UK is quite hard to come by.
Yes, it is.
But I've met people.
It is there, but it's very difficult to access.
It's very hard.
You have to go through a whole list of categories.
It's very hard to get.
Assume that you're, the guy.
You're worthy.
I know it's very, very hard.
But I've met people from all over the world, and it amazes me. So I would love to do some fringe theatre festivals around the world. There's one in, I believe, Adelaide. There's some all over. There's one in Canada, and I would love to take a show abroad, but the flights, etc., and all the costs involved.
The money, I know.
You have to have some backing from somebody to do
pressure. A friend of mine was Lionel Bart.
Yeah.
Remember Lionel Bart?
I do, yeah.
So he was the only guy to have Oliver.
Yeah.
So he was the only guy to have 7 theatre productions in the West End at one time.
That's incredible.
No one's ever 7.
Yeah.
But I mean, some of them that he had, I think it was a Sixpence, a Little White Ball.
Yeah.
There was all kind of. But I mean, to get to that is like crazy time.
Yeah.
I suppose that's back in the day though, when the theatre land was.
Yeah, I mean, modern day. Pinnacle. So I think recently, Andrew Lloyd Webber, for the first time, is not on Broadway for about 30 years. So he's always had a show on Broadway. I think Phantom of the Opera closed on Broadway listeners can fact
Has
check.
he,
I always say,
has he
don't
picked
just
up-
believe me.
Has he picked up the phone yet to you?
He hasn't picked up the phone to me. I mean, I'd love to pick up the phone to him. Yeah, here's my number. Let's get my number.
We're trying to get Tim Rice on here, actually.
Really?
We put the feelers out, and
Yeah.
he's been shaking his head and nodding his head and shaking his head and nodding. So keep your fingers crossed.
Yeah,
You know?
well, that would be a wonderful guest to have on.
So in the future, so apart from just resigning us from here,
Yeah.
you're going to go on. You are going to work on this other play you're talking about, right?
Nellie Bly.
Nellie Bly.
Yeah,
That sounds great as
working title. The working title at the moment is Around the World in 72 Days. It may change. It may not.
So how come you book like was that just to give you a bit of a boost?
Why do I book a theatre?
Yeah, before you've sort of finished the play.
To
give you a boost, right?
Well,
So
to
I
make
better
sure-
get it done because
yeah.
I'm paying for the.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. To make sure I go there and do it. Yeah.
No, I mean, listen, it's been fantastic talking to you. It really has. Thank you for coming down. Really do appreciate it. And are you going to come back again and see us?
I'd love to.
You will do.
Yeah.
And will it be about the Nelly?
That would be great, actually. Yeah, maybe in the summer.
In the summer?
Yeah,
we're
we're
that
gonna.
early.
Yeah, we've booked a theatre in Harlow, July the 13th.
Oh, right, cool.
To showcase our work locally, because obviously this is our home kind of
Yeah.
territory, and when we go to Edinburgh we don't know anyone.
Yeah.
Luckily we've always been well supported, but it's nice to share our work with friends and
You
family.
do have a lot of support in this area of Essex. Essex is quite a big county compared to our UK. So it's a great starting base. Next door is London.
Yeah.
And then you go to places like Edinburgh and stuff like
Yeah.
that. What about crossing to Ireland? Who'd love this?
No, I'd love for any of these opportunities. I think the main challenge is money, which is sad and boring. So I can't go on about that. But I'd love to take the production to as many places as possible, and to experience as many places as possible en route, really, with the show. It would be an amazing thing to do.
And that show and other shows that you're going to be doing.
Yeah.
Well, look, I'm just so pleased that you come. I really appreciate it, because I know you rushed through the door. I know you've got to rush off. So thank you ever so much for taking the time, Joe. It's
No,
really
thank
brilliant.
you.
Wish you all the success. Make sure you come back.
I will.
Put a word into that Weber bloke. And so give us a call. Give us some money. Help us out.
Yeah. We need a producer to help us. Yeah.
For now, ladies and gentlemen, Joel Goodman.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Sam.